if the Passover, the actual time, the actual day, occurred before the Feast of Unleavened Bread, when was Peter arrested? And when was he planned to be killed? Well, it couldn't be Passover. Here's why. Because on the morning of the 15th day, according to the book of Exodus and Deuteronomy, chapter 16 of the book of Deuteronomy, the 15th day of the month marked the 7 days when that 7 days of unleavened bread began. Not when Passover began, the 7 days of unleavened bread. The 14th day was the Passover. The 7 days after were the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Okay, now let's look again at Acts chapter 12. This time, keep in context. Let's look at verses 3 and then go to verse number 4. Here's what the Bible says. And because he saw it pleased the Jews, he proceeded further to take Peter also. Then were the days of unleavened bread. Verse number 4. And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison, and delivered him to 4 quaternions of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people. Now then, let's keep this in perspective. If the Passover was only 1 day, this would be right. However, if the critics are correct, and this should read Passover, when was Herod going to kill Peter? Was he going to wait 12 more months until the next Passover came along and kill him then? No. If you remember in the book of Matthew, chapter 14, if I'm not mistaken, Herod was known for throwing huge feasts. And in Matthew chapter 14, he was even willing to kill a man of God during one of these feasts. So it didn't bother him to shed blood on these feasts. It didn't bother him at all. Also remember, Herod was Roman. He wasn't Jewish. He didn't have an obligation to keep the Passover. He didn't have a reason to do anything for that matter. He could do whatever he wanted. He was a Roman. He could kill him that day if he wanted to. But he waited for a specific reason. But the reason he waited was because it pleased the Jews. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, wouldn't it upset the Jews if Herod were to kill Peter on Passover? Why would it upset them? They killed Jesus on Passover. Why would it upset them to kill one of his followers on Passover? On Passover. It would seem quite appropriate. If it was all for keeping the peace, it wouldn't have really mattered, Passover or Easter. It wouldn't have mattered if it was Passover or if it was just, Friday. They wouldn't have cared. All right? So, it was not about upsetting the Jews because of a religious thing. That was irrelevant. The Jews just wanted Peter dead. They didn't care when, they wanted him dead. Herod was the one that determined when he was going to kill Peter. And it was after Easter. Now, if you understand Easter, you understand that it was a practice done by the Romans. I'm going to cover what exactly is Easter later on in another video. But it was a big celebration that the pagans and the Romans, the Greeks, everybody recognized it. Even the Jews recognized it, believe it or not. And, if you've arrested a man after one big day, and you've got another day coming a week later, why wait 12 months when you can kill him on the next week? Now, during the Feast of Unleavened Bread, he said, let's just give him time. Let's let the Jews have their time. Then on my day, because I'm a Roman, I make the rules. I'll kill him on my day. I'm going to have a big party that day. I need some sport. I need blood. The death of Peter will work. Folks, listen, the King James is fine just the way it reads. If it were to read Passover, you would have a serious problem because that wouldn't make sense. At that point, you would have Peter being in prison for 12 months, which at that time would not have been done. Not for a man like Peter. That would not have happened. You would have also had a bunch of upset Jews because if you have Peter arrested and in prison for 12 months, you've got a potential martyr. You've got someone that they can say, hey, if he's wrong, why are they holding him? Why not just kill him? Folks, when you start saying that the King James Bible is wrong just because of one word, especially the word Easter, you have lost a lot of respect by people who have actually done their homework. Now, my time's almost up on the YouTube video here. What I want to do, if you would like to learn more about the word Easter, is it a mistranslation? There are a couple of things that I have that I recommend. The first one is Dr. Sam Gipp's book, The Answer Book, a help book for Christians. AV Publications sells that. You can go up on our website. The link will be down in the bottom in the description board. Go up, buy this book. It's an excellent book. It covers a whole bunch of other questions that critics ask, and to be honest, I use this book quite frequently when I get emails, or during a Q&A at a King James conference, or when I'm out preaching, somebody wants to ask me a question. I have used this book. It's invaluable. I absolutely recommend this book 100%. Another thing that I have here, reach over here and get it, is an article by Pastor Brian Evans of the Oakwood Baptist Church in Flowery Branch, Georgia. AV Publications also, we have these. If you like them, just email. Our email for the YouTube account is also down in the description bar. But folks, listen, when people say that the word Easter is a mistranslation, it's a last-ditch effort of someone who has absolutely lost touch with reality. Okay? That's not true at all. You need to understand that if the Bible is wrong with one word, it's wrong with all of it. All the rest of it's up for grabs. So keep in mind that there is information out there, both for the critic and for the believer, that can give you information that will answer your questions and answer the critics, if you are willing to look it up and do some work on your own.